Let's also get in Amar Singh. He's joining us to give us a view on the technicals of the market, head advisory at Angel Broking. Amar, what's your view here? I mean, 10,700, it's been a almost 700-point pullback rally that you've seen at the index level. Is it now reaching exhaustion levels, do you feel? There could be a case for some kind of correction coming in, or do you feel that there is enough conviction out there, especially with the kind of moves that we're seeing both in private as well as public sector banks, for this rally to continue?
Yeah, overall, looking at the major bellwether stocks in the indices clearly reflects that the momentum that is building could sustain, and also Nifty taking out the earlier resistance of 10,600, 630 levels, because that was a crucial level of resistance, and also taking that out. So also a lot of those who were on the short side, the buy stops definitely would have got triggered. And also looking at the trend, I would say the long-term trend definitely that remains intact. The short-term trend is also positive. And even the medium-term trend, which was negative, and the markets were displaying some sort of sideways, that also sideways momentum, that also is more or less displaying positive strength. So only what needs to one needs to watch out is that the 10,700 to 10,740. You can take it to stretch it to 10,750. That's going to act as a very strong resistance zone, because that was a gap which was there. So and also this sharp move which we've seen on the back of global cues also. So that also has taken some of the market participants by surprise. So we would witness some profit booking coming into the stocks and also at the indices. So the level to watch out on the upside is definitely 10,740, 750. That's going to act as a very strong resistance. But yes, the trend remains positive and up. So any dip should be used as a buying opportunity. And also, if you look at the OI data, what we are witnessing is that there has been a continuous...
Right, Amar, so sorry to cut you off.
Amar, your view on the stock? What's the call on the chart of Maruti right now?
I would say that if you look at Maruti over the last 8 to 10 weeks, it's been in a consolidation phase. 8,500, 8,600 on the downside, that was acting as a very strong support and still continues to be. Whereas on the upside, 9,300 and all that, that was a major resistance level. So technically, on the weekly charts, it was never a very strong. And even on the daily charts, when it moved into the overbought territory, so from there only it started correcting. And today there was a up gap, but again we witnessed selling pressure. So yes, on the downside, 8,500, 8,600, that should act as 8,600 roughly should act as a very strong support zone. So it could trade sideways if that level is not breached. So the stock could consolidate in the range of 8,500, 8,600 on the downside, and on the upside, it could be around 91 to 9,200 on the upside for a few weeks.
All right. Amar, comment on an Axis Bank, a very, very strong move that we're seeing today. It's extending the gains that we saw from the morning. We're at the highs of the day at the moment. Of course, it's defying any sort of logic as far as, the results that we saw come out after market hours yesterday. But on the charts, how is this looking to you?
I would say that on the charts, what Axis Bank is displaying, that it was in oversold territory both on the weekly charts and on the daily charts. So clearly reflecting that there was some support on the downside for the chart for this particular stock. And today the stock, if you look at it, it opened lower around 480 levels, and then it is up by almost 9%, which really I would say would have been very difficult for anyone to really predict this sort of movement. But it is as is. So on the upside, it's likely to meet with, because if you look at the charts, the last few trading sessions, it did witness some correction from almost 550, 560 levels. So that would be, and that was the previous stop. So the stock is likely to meet with resistance around 550, 560 levels. So that would be a level to watch out for, because for the stock to really witness a significant rally, it would have to break that level, and that's not going to be easy for the stock. On the downside, it would continue to find now crucial support somewhere in the region of 500, and major support for the stock is around 480, 490 levels.
What about Yes Bank, Amar? We saw a very strong move on this one in trade yesterday. No follow-on buying coming in, but it's holding on to those levels of about 350 odd. What's the call on a Yes Bank right now?
Yeah, looking at Yes Bank, what we are seeing in Yes Bank is that Yes Bank is also, if we look at this particular counter, the overall trend for Yes Bank is completely different from what is for Axis Bank. Because Yes Bank has been in consolidation from almost, if you look 280 levels, it's currently around 350 odd levels or so. And looking at the charts, what we are seeing is that it is close to its February first week highs of around, that was a high of 387 or so, 360s, 367 or so, and currently it's around 350 odd levels, so that would act as a resistance level. Technically, I would say it's strong on the short-term charts, it's positive on the medium-term charts. The long-term charts, they reflect a clear level of consolidation. So at higher levels, I would say 365 to 380 level, that's going to act as a very strong resistance for Yes Bank, and it could witness some consolidation, and it wouldn't be easy for it to take out that level. On the downside, it's going to have very strong support somewhere in the region of 320 odd levels or so.
All right, so 365, 380.
Amar, it has been a very, very volatile stock of Fortis. For those looking for a new position, what's the advice? And more importantly, for those already having a position in this one, what's the advice?
Yeah, overall, looking at Fortis, what we are witnessing is that this stock technically is in a consolidation phase. It has bounced back from almost 120 levels and currently around 154 odd levels, and the trend definitely, if you look at the short-term trend, the medium-term trend, that remains positive. So that means there is some buying interest coming in the stock, and also from the long-term charts also there is some clear-cut bottom formation. So the downside in this stock is definitely limited. Talking about on the upside, what we are witnessing is that in the first week of January, it had made a high of 171. Then earlier later it made a high of 167. So somewhere or the other on the upside, 160, 170, that would act as a very strong resistance zone for that, because till that level is not taken out, I would say the stock would continue to consolidate. But yes, on the downside around 140 odd levels, the stock is very strongly supported. So between 140 and 170, that's the range this stock is likely to trade. So any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity in this stock. And only once above 170 starts trading, then you can expect a major rally in this stock. Otherwise, it's likely to consolidate, but with a positive bias.
All right.
Amar, just to come back to you, we spoke about Axis, but if let's take a look at the PSU banks today, sectorally, that's why we're seeing a very, very strong traction. It's up about 3.5%, nearly 4% up on the PSU bank index. Names like Andhra Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Union Bank seeing very good up moves today. Are you spotting any sort of opportunities? What's going on here?
Yeah, overall, what we are witnessing is that in most of the public sector banks also, the stocks were somewhere trading very close to their major support levels. If I talk about the front runner, that is SBI. So SBI somewhere had very strong support coming at around 230 odd levels or so, because if you look at it on a weekly chart, on a long-term chart as well, so somewhere that was a very strong support. And I would say that's one of the reasons also we are seeing a pullback in most of the banking stocks. And if you look at SBI is up from almost 230 to 242 odd levels or so. So clearly reflecting that the downside in the stocks, be it the public sector banks or particularly, the downside seems to be limited, and it could mean that there could be some buying coming in. But what one needs to remember is that the overall trend still remains, the long term as well as the medium term trend still remains down. But this is more of short covering and also some buying opportunity, those who want to buy at lower levels and maybe book profits, because if SBI, if it holds these levels, then it's headed higher towards 255, 260 in the short term.
All right, let's get a couple of trading ideas from you. Apart from the stocks that we've already spoken about, what are you looking at right now?
I would say from the IT pack, one can look at KPIT. Because if you're looking at KPIT, it's overall, if I'm looking at the trends on the technical side across different time frames, that continues to remain positive and strong. And also, if I look at the OI data, that also is suggesting that 240 on the downside and 250 on the upside, that's the immediate zone for it. So any pullback towards 245, 46, that can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss below 240 and a target of 262 in the short term. And the second stock to look at is from the metal space, that is JSW Steel. What we are seeing in JSW Steel is that this stock is also technically strong across the different time frames, be it the short term, medium term or long term, and also the stock has witnessed a breakout. And because it was consolidating and earlier it was not able to break out above the 310 mark. So it's trading consistently above that level. So any pullback towards 325.26 that can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss below 320 and a target of 345 in the short term.
All right, so KPIT Tech and JSW Steel looking good too. Amar, just coming back to you with another steel name, Nalco had come under a tremendous amount of pressure, seeing a bit of a recovery in the last couple of sessions. How is this one looking to you?
Yeah, looking at Nalco, I would say that I'll just pull up the chart. Nalco, if I look at this, we are witnessing some, I would say, consolidation because it did witness a significant rally. It's up by almost, if you look at it from the lows of 60, it's up to 90. Currently, it's around 82 odd levels or so. So there is, I would say, the trend definitely remains positive for Nalco, but on the upside, it's likely to meet with a resistance, very strong resistance around 90 odd levels or so, and that's what has happened. But any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. The important level of support for Nalco is around 75 levels on the downside. And on the upside, I would say immediate resistance around 85-90 zone. Only above 90 can you expect a major rally, but that really doesn't seem likely in the short term. So it's likely to consolidate, but pullback should be used as a buying opportunity.
Pullback should be used as a buying opportunity on this one. Liquor stocks are on a high. Markets are getting ready for the weekend. It seems United Breweries, United Spirits, Radico Khaitan, Pincon, all of these stocks are seeing a very smart move in trade. Globus, GMM Breweries also added to that list. So liquor stocks are doing well. MRF has hit an all-time high right now. That stock is up 5% in trade, and we've been seeing a very, very strong up move on the entire tire space. In fact, Balkrishna was the star of the trade day a couple of days back, and today it's the turn of MRF. And otherwise also all of these tire stocks have been on the run. Amar, anything that you like as a trade from the tire universe? I mean, MRF, you don't get that higher volume, but it is seeing a very, very strong move today.
Yeah, MRF technically is very strong still on the charts because it was consolidating, and earlier if you look at the levels, it was unable to breach the 74,000 mark few months back, but it has taken that out and it's making fresh highs. So clearly I would say the stock is on an up move, but I would recommend that one can also look at Apollo Tires. Because Apollo Tires also is, I would say, technically very strong on the long term as well as the short term charts. It was consolidating. It has got very good support around 280 odd levels or so. But on the upside, 295, 300, that's a level of resistance. But it seems likely that if the stock consolidates and trades above 295, 300 zone, then it is headed higher towards 320, 325 levels.
All right, Apollo Tires.
Amar, just to revisit the levels on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty to watch out for in the week ahead, and where do you think the bias will be?
I would say that the way Nifty has closed today clearly reflects that the trend remains positive. And also taking out the 10,630, 640 resistance, that was a major resistance zone, taking it out and holding firmly above that. And just closing a tad below 10,700 odd levels clearly reflects that there is a positive momentum. And also if you look at the major stocks across different sectors, they are also technically looking positive on the chart. So the only level to watch out for Nifty in the short term, I would say, that is next week, is immediate 10,740, 10,750, because again that would be a level which is going to act as a strong resistance. If that is taken out, then it's headed higher towards 10,800, 850 on the upside. Whereas on the downside, immediate support for Nifty now would be around 10,550. That would act as a crucial support zone for Nifty. Looking at Bank Nifty, I would say has an immediate resistance somewhere around 25,450, 500. That should act as an immediate resistance. But overall, the trend I would say is positive. Yes, higher levels, as I talked about, they would meet with some resistance, but if then they are taken out, then definitely it's headed higher towards 25,700 to 25,800. On the downside, 25,000 to 25,100, that should act as a short-term support, but crucial support for Bank Nifty is around 24,700 odd levels. So next week, I would say definitely the bias remains positive, and any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. However, for Nifty, one should watch out for 10,740, 750 resistance zone.
All right, so those are the key levels to watch out for on both a Nifty as well as a Bank Nifty. Amar, I just want to get your call on a Reliance. I don't think we had a chance to speak about this. We're still waiting for the numbers. But on the chart, how is this one looking to you? You know, we're just short of that 1,000 rupee per share mark. Do you see that in the near term? And do you see us reaching those levels?
I would say that Reliance continues to be extremely strong on the long-term charts as well as the short-term charts. So the momentum is very strong, and also it was in consolidation. If you look at the stock bounced back from almost 880 levels, and then today also has been a very strong day. And for this month, it's up by almost 13%. So the trend definitely remains positive. So I think 1,000 is within striking distance. And yes, if results come out if they come out good, then the stock is definitely headed higher. So any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. Immediate support for Reliance on the downside, I would say, is around 970. That's a very strong support for Reliance. Below that, 940, 950, that should act as a strong support.
Amar, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining and sharing your views for all the big movers and shakers in trade today. That is Amar Singh with his view on the market.